Hello, I'm Marlena Belmonte, and I'd like to welcome you to Guidance Software's EnCast, a free online training video series. EnCast is a free training video offered as an extended learning session for those who are interested in computer forensics with EnCase. In this training video, we will explore the use of EnCase Forensic Edition.
My name is James Hobbin. In this EnCast, I will show you how to rebuild web pages from files stored in temporary internet folders of an evidence drive using an end script that I wrote called Webpage Rebuilder. This end script requires the examiner to first search the evidence drive for internet history artifacts. The examiner then navigates into the Records tab and looks at the HTML files in the cache. The end script will only process selected records indicated by a blue check. For each of these records, the HTML code is searched for tags that reference other files, such as images or style sheets. It then tries to locate these files in the cache using the base URL from the selected HTML record. Once located, the files are bookmarked and exported, and a modified version of the HTML is written that references these local files instead of the live files from the server that may be different or actually non-existent. An original copy of the HTML is also written out. We will look at the exported files later. Here I have James's hard drive in EnCase. I can see the partition. There's some folders. Before I can go any further, I need to actually show the internet artifacts from the browsers on James's drive. So I will go up to the search button. I will come down here to the Search for Internet History checkbox, and I will start. My search is done. Let's take a look at the results. Click on the Records tab. Here we see the disk, under there the partition, and then we see a list of all the browsers that EnCase recognizes. In this case, we see Internet Explorer for Windows. I'll expand this. Underneath there is a cache folder. Underneath there is an HTML folder. This is the folder that will contain all of the HTML files that describe to the script and to us as examiners where all the files came from in the cache, various images and other objects that are connected. I want to narrow my focus on these gunbroker.com records, so I will come down here to the Filters pane and to the tab for Conditions. Underneath the Internet History and Cache folder, I have a condition called URL name contains. I'm going to fire that up and type in gunbroker.com. Click the OK button so that my view of the records is limited to only those records that have gunbroker.com in the URL name. I need to use the HTML and the other files that are stored in the cache here to see what's been viewed. I am going to blue check all of these gunbroker.com records, and in the filter pane I'm coming back to my EndScript tab to use another script that I've written called Webpage Titles. This script goes into each one of these records, the HTML records that I've selected, and it looks for the title tag that shows at the top of the browser when the user is viewing a web page. I'm going to run this script, which goes through all of these. It carves out those titles, and it creates a bookmark folder of all of these title texts. will go to my Bookmarks tab now. Underneath the folder that says Web Page Title Tags, in the comment column is the text from that title tag. The bookmark is a notable file bookmark. I'm going to choose this Glock 26 9mm, and in order to be able to rebuild this, I need to have the record selected. So to get there, I'm going to right-click on the bookmark. Allows me to tag file in the Entries tab. As I go to the Entries tab, I now see the file blue checked. I'm going to right-click over that file, which I now see an option to tag record. When I go back to the Records tab, I now see here is the URL for my gunbroker auction that I'm interested in. Now that I have my record selected, I will come down here to my EnScripts tab and run the script titled Web Page Rebuilder. It tells me right here at the top, one record selected. Underneath here, it takes the default of the case export folder. Next item down is the title of the bookmark folder and of the folder that gets written out to the hard drive. Below that, there's an option to remove JavaScript code. This is indicated by script tags in the HTML. For the most part, you'll want to remove these because the script can go out and make requests to servers, which we don't want. There may be times that you do not want to remove the JavaScript, and you may want to leave it in for formatting reasons. So it's an option here, but the recommended is the default. I recommend to run it first with the default, and then if you have some issues showing the page, change them from there. The second option is to remove style sheet code. It leaves it in by default because the formatting can get very messed up if you don't have the style sheet code, but style sheet code can also try to hide certain elements of a page. So you may possibly want to remove some of the style sheet code for certain pages. I'm going to click OK. Now let's take a look at the files that are exported by the script. And I'll navigate to the program files, EnCase 615, and the export directory, since that's where I dumped them. I will see a Web Page Rebuilder folder. Underneath there is the name of the file that we were processing. Underneath there is an HTML file named exactly as it was inside our evidence. And then there's an additional file that is named exactly other than the _orig. And what this file is an exact export of the HTML file unchanged. The one named the same is the HTML that has been modified to point to all of the images and other objects that were referenced in the original file. All of those images and other objects have been placed inside this folder called Objects. Inside there, we will see a whole bunch of images, all of those that were referenced in the HTML. Let's go back to that HTML. We can now safely execute this page into our browser to take a look at it. I'm using Internet Explorer to view this page because I've already changed all the references to the images and I've removed the script from the HTML. So I don't need to use an offline browser such as Navroad because I am actually interested in seeing more what this page looks like. The Navroad is a great browser, but it doesn't always support the style sheet information that's needed to replicate the page how the user saw it. So here we can see that most of the images are just as the user would have seen them on the auction, with the exception of one up here at the top on the right-hand side, which happens to be an add image. Now that I have shown you how to use this EnScript, I hope you'll be able to use it in the future. You'll find my contact information in the Help button of the EnScript, so feel free to contact me with issues you may have using this EnScript. Thanks for watching the EnCast.
To view a full version of this online demonstration and to download a free copy of the EnScript presented, head over to EnCaseOnDemand.com.